Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. A very good warm welcome to everyone for joining us today on a Saturday afternoon, where I think a lot of people would be more accustomed to resting at home or spending time with the family. But thank you for making time to be with us on this Saturday afternoon to talk about what we're going to do, inshallah ta'ala, at the Rehlah. And there are a couple of things that we need to talk about. Some of them are logistical things. Can you not hear my voice? Okay. This one, turn, open, and then okay. Bismillah. Bismillah. Okay. Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalam ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa man wala. So a good welcome, a good warm welcome to all of you for joining us. Thank you for joining us on this Saturday afternoon, where I guess most of you would be more accustomed to spending a time like this with your families, but you've made time to be with us. We're going to talk about the Rehlah, inshallah ta'ala, and there are a number of things that we will talk about. Some of them actually relate to logistical matters. Some of them relate to the trip itself, what we're going to do, the places that we're going to visit. And some of them, inshallah ta'ala, will also relate to the adab of being in a place like Tarim. Yeah? So we're going to talk about all of these things, and we're going to tell you the truth about your visit. So inshallah ta'ala, bear with us, and we'll go through. We'll spend inshallah ta'ala about how long? About 2.5 hours, more or less, 2.5 hours, 3 hours to speak to you today, inshallah ta'ala. We'll also have a breakout session where we can get to know each other, because not all of us know, we don't know everyone. Do you know everyone? No. Most of these people are new to you, right? Yeah. So I think that I should know all of you. I should know all the men already. Yeah. Shahul Hamid, first time I'm meeting him. But apart from that, I think everyone else is somewhat familiar to me, inshallah ta'ala. Okay. So we're going to start. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin. Wassalatu wassalam ala ashrafil anbiya'i wal mursalin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Nawaitu ta'allum wa ta'lim wa tadhakkur wa tadhkir wa naf'a wal intifa'a wal ifadata wal istifada wal hath ala tamasuki bi kitabillah wa sunnati rasulihi sallallahu alaihi wasallam wa du'a ilal huda wa dalalata ala al khair ibtigha'a wajhillahi maradatih wa qurbihi wa thawabih subhanahu wa ta'ala. So today's agenda, inshallah ta'ala, we will start by introducing the organizers, and then we'll talk about intentions. We'll talk about group and travel information. We'll talk about Tarim itself and the accommodation that we're going to have in Tarim. And this is actually also to prepare you on what you need to bring, what you need to pack. Because some of us will be staying in shared accommodation. Okay, so we want to talk about what that will entail, and then we'll talk about our activities in Tarim itself, our visitations outside of Tarim, some of the adab relating to being in Tarim, being in Hadramawt, visitations and all that. And we'll also go through our suggested packing list. And then we'll talk about contingencies, and we'll mention some things about Tarim and Hadramawt generally. Okay. So first up, we're going to talk about the organizers. So the organizers are myself and my wife Salina. And together with us, we have Ustazah Diana and Ustazah Faiza. So for those of you who are attending classes at Masjid Khalid, maybe Ustazah Diana and Ustazah Faiza will be familiar to you, or maybe the ladies would already know them through some of the programs that are going on online and elsewhere. Yeah. So if you need anything, you can just approach us. Okay, I don't know whether to say fortunately or unfortunately, I'm the only male in this in this organizing committee. So the men, yeah, can just come to me, inshallah ta'ala. But inshallah ta'ala, I'll recruit some of you as deputies as we go along, inshallah. So as with everything that we do, it's just so important that we start by setting the right intentions. Okay, so we're going to go on a spiritual journey to the blessed lands of Hadramawt. So obviously there are intentions that we need to put in place. Okay, and all of you are familiar with this hadith. You must have heard it a million times before, but I'll repeat it anyway, just for the barakah of the words of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Innamal a'malu binniyat wa innamal likulli imri'in ma nawa." Ila akhir al hadith. So the shahid here is that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said this, and it means the reward of the deeds that we're gonna acquire from this journey or whatever we undertake depends on our intentions, and we will get whatever we get from this thing that we're gonna do. In this case, going on this trip will depend on our intentions. So intentions are very important, and we try to place them, inshallah ta'ala, at the beginning of our journey. So from now until we set off, inshallah ta'ala, you can begin putting in good intentions, and inshallah ta'ala, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give you according to the intentions that you've put in. Okay, it's my Zoom. It's the one that I shared many times before. Hang on. Okay. Again, I sent to you the Okay, Bismillah. Okay, so it's important for you to set your intentions right, inshallah ta'ala, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give you according to those intentions. So what we have here is a set of suggested intentions, and these are actually very good intentions. I think they were written by Ustazah Diana and Ustazah Faiza for last year's trip, or maybe Ustaz Shahidin must have put it together. But if you look at it, you know that actually if you don't put in the right intentions, maybe you might just treat it like any other tour, any other trip, and then you'll get what you get out of it, sightseeing, you get to meet people and so on and so forth. Inshallah, we can share with you the slides. You don't have to take pictures, inshallah. We can share the slides with you, okay? So we can place these intentions. We intend to travel to do what? To acquire knowledge and to practice it. And we put in an intention. Out of that, inshallah ta'ala, we return and we become a living da'wah. So we become the knowledge, inshallah ta'ala, in our interactions with people. Okay, so this is something good that you can consider putting in as part of your intentions. We visit the awliya of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and this is again a separate discussion in and of itself. There will be visitations, inshallah ta'ala, to the awliya and the salihin. And what do we want to get out of that visit? Are we just meeting people? Are we just going there to take photos? For the men, for the men. For the women, there'll be no photo takings with the hubabas. But for the men, do we just want to go and take photos and then put them up on social media? Or do we hope to get the barakah and the gaze of the awliya of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? And this is something that's very important, and it's something that's very real. It's something that actually slips by most of us. Most of us would not actually if sometimes if we're not actually reminded to put in the intention, it might actually slip you by, because well, you know, you're in subconscious mode, and you might not actually have it at the back of your mind that I'm here to get the gaze of the awliya of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the gaze is something that's very real, just like how Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said the ayn is haq, the ayn is truth, that it is a reality. You know, people can affect you and can afflict you with ayn. So likewise, the nadhara of the awliya of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is also something true. You can get something positive out of being with them, and out of them noticing you in the crowd of visitors. It's something that's very special. So we place all these good intentions, inshallah ta'ala. Yeah. And to fulfill the commandment of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, kunu ma'as sadiqin, to be with the people who are true. Yeah, so inshallah ta'ala, we place this intention that we are here to be with the people whom Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has praised and has asked us to look out for them and to be with them. Tamam. The fourth thing that is suggested here, that we hope actually with this trip that we get to purify our inward states. We may have hasad, we may have hikid, we may have riya, kibr, and so on and so forth. These bad traits, these madhmuma, these things that are madhmum, these things that are frowned upon, states that are in you. So we hope that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala purifies our inward states by us being with these people. Okay, these people. Tamam. And then number 5, we hope that we can be ennobled by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with a vision of our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. You can put in any intention. In fact, you can even put in an intention that with this trip, I hope to come back a millionaire. And who knows, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will make you millionaires, but maybe some of you are already millionaires. So billionaires, billionaires, inshallah ta'ala. So maybe Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can reward you that way. I'll be sending you the slides if you want them, inshallah ta'ala. Okay. You don't have to take photos, but if you want to, I mean, that's fine as well. Okay. It's not far-fetched to think that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can reward you with a vision of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam through this visit. Okay. And we also hope that at the end of the trip, we are able to reflect and call ourselves to account. We get to see the things that we are deficient in, and inshallah ta'ala, we use it as an opportunity to purify ourselves and to better ourselves, and to put our reliance on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we hope for acceptance from Him. Again, this is actually part of implementing and applying the concept of khawf and raja, of having fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and a hope for acceptance from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It is something that we should generally have when we perform any deed, be it salat, Som, zakat, hajj, whatever we do, we should have the concept of khawf and raja within us, so that we always have a fear that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala might not accept our deeds because of some deficiency that occurs within it, but yet at the same time we have hope that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will reward us and grants us many returns from those deeds that we have undertaken. Tamam. Oh, there's someone who's actually online. Is it? Just make sure that she's in the right place. Yeah. So I put this poem here. Okay, I mean, I'm actually in a very candid state, you know. So I'm not in a presentation mode. So if you want to stop me and ask me questions, you can ask me questions. I put in this poem here mainly because I was trying to think about what would be appropriate to present this idea to you, because not everybody would be familiar with this idea or this concept. Yeah, that this poem is actually found at the end of Bidayatul Hidayah. and it's not mentioned who wrote this this poem. Ala kulli hal, the shahid here is walil qalbi alal qalbi dalinun hina yalqahu. Yeah, that the heart has a guide towards another heart when it meets it. So roughly we translate it like that. Yeah, and you might think, actually, why is it here and why am I using this this particular poem? So when we say that a heart meets another, the hearts with each other, they have a dalil, a guide that guides you towards another. I heard this from Sheikh Omar Hussein. He said that this is something of a hujjah, where we can say that our hearts, when we actually meet each other in real life, yeah, it is because there is a hujjah from our time on Yaumul Mithaq. Yaumul Mithaq is the day that Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala gathered all the souls, all the arwah that Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala created and will be future human beings that are earmarked to be human beings to be sent to this world. And Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala asked them, Alastu bi Rabbikum, and they all answered Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, Bala Shahidna. Yes, I am. That yes, we bear witness that you are our Lord. So it is said that our souls had actually met each other or had actually bumped into each other on that day, and that's why we actually meet each other. That means we were probably buddies when in Alam Roh, you know, and that's why we are here today and meeting with each other, sitting down, interacting with each other. So it means that inshallah ta'ala, when we go to Tarim and we sit with this awliya of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, we had some interaction with them. Yeah. And when we travel to Tarim, to Hadramawt, and we meet this awliya, it means that inshallah ta'ala, this is like sort of like a physical fulfillment of something that had already happened on Yaumul Mithaq. Ala kulli hal, this is the shahid of what this poem was about. There are other things, and I could go on and on to talk about some of these things. So we shan't let's not allow me to do that, and we'll move on inshallah ta'ala. Okay, and there's a famous surah from the Quran, and inshallah ta'ala all of us know this surah by heart. A'udzu billahi minasyaitonir rajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Allah Subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Al-hakumut takathur hatta zurtumul maqabir, kalla sawfa ta'lamun, thumma kalla sawfa ta'lamun, kalla law ta'lamuna 'ilmal yaqin, latarawunal jahim, thumma latarawunaha 'ainal yaqin, thumma latus'alunna yawma idzin 'anil na'im. So this is a surah of from the Quran, and it's a complete surah. And there are many things that Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala mentions here. Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala sends a warning, chides the people who busy themselves with the dunya, and they will not come to see the truth until zurtumul maqabir, until you actually end up visiting the graves, which means that when you meet your death. Ala kulli hal, the shahid that I want to move in here is kalla law ta'lamuna 'ilmal yaqin, that Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala says that indeed if you were to know your fate with certainty, you would have acted differently. So the concept of ilmal yaqin, inshallah ta'ala, most of us would be familiar with it, but I'll repeat it anyway here. So ilmal yaqin is a concept that the Sufis use very often. And it is mentioned to bring us to a realization that there are certain certainties that happen in this world that we know of because of knowledge that had been implanted into us. So one something that maybe might resonate with us. The lady left. She joined and then she left. So something that will resonate with us is that most of us would have watched on YouTube or on Facebook Habib Omar's daras at Jalsa Ithnin, for example, Jalsa Ihya, the Maulid at Darul Mustafa on Thursday nights. So we come to know of these things. How do we come to know of these things? Because of knowledge that had been presented to us and that had been put into our minds. So we know that, oh, there's a majlis that goes on in Darul Mustafa on Thursday nights, and it's the Maulid, and Habib Umar speaks there, and so on and so forth. Ala kulli hal, that is ilmul yaqeen. But to take it a step further, insyaAllah ta'ala, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, latarawunnal jahim. This is not us, insyaAllah ta'ala. Thumma latarawunnaha aynal yaqeen. After that, you will come to see it, to envision it with aynul yaqeen. That means to actually see and witness it with your eyes, with your own two eyes. So insyaAllah ta'ala, when we go to Darul Mustafa and we get to sit in front of Habib Umar, or to sit in front of any of the awliya that maybe you might have seen on Facebook or on YouTube, when people come and visit, they record videos or something like that, and then they share on social media. This is an opportunity for us to have Ainul Yaqeen, to actually sit with them and witness them with the eyes of our head, you know, with the eyes of our head. It doesn't sound very nice. In Malay, it sounds nice, mata kepala. But anyway, with our eyes, with our physical eyes, it's something that we get to witness, insyaAllah ta'ala. And insyaAllah ta'ala, these are things that you can take home with you. And I tell you, the benefits that you get out of that gathering, you can carry with you back for the rest of your life, and nothing can replace it. Which is why I always tell people, actually taking photos is not as important as living that moment, and to be there in the presence of the awliya and the salihin, and to just be with them, to hear their words, that nothing can replace that. Of course, we say that it is from the arkan of the ziyarah. So the ziyarah has arkan, right? Do you know that the ziyarah has arkan? Just like salat has arkan, so the ziyarah also has arkan. So when we come, we say Assalamualaikum, we meet, then we sit down, we are invited to eat something. We are invited to, we are asked to say something, and so on and so forth. Anyway, they say that at the end of that list of arkan is surah, a picture, a photograph. And actually that's not the end of it. The end of it is tertib, just like in the salat. So ala kulli hal, we save our photos right at the end, and also if they actually give us permission to do so. Okay. So ala kulli hal, I can talk quite a lot. So don't let me do that. So we talked about ilmul ainul yaqeen here. So the point is that you get to witness those things that you only see on social media now. So inshallah ta'ala, this will give you some encouragement and some zeal, inshallah ta'ala, in going for your trip and wanting to do your best when we are in the lands of Hadramawt, inshallah ta'ala. Okay. So now we're going to talk about something that is a little bit more technical. Okay. We're going to talk about group and travel information. Okay, how many of us will be going? 37 of us, inshallah ta'ala, 37 participants. Okay, there'll be 5 families, 2 couples. Okay, there are singles. Okay, so the rest are singles, 10 males, 18 females, 5 boys, and 4 girls. Okay, so yeah, these 10 males includes us, right? Includes me, yeah, includes me, yeah, obviously 37. Okay, so it's a big group, It's a big group, so inshallah ta'ala we'll look out for each other, and like I mentioned, I probably have to recruit some of the guys to help me out with some of the logistics, inshallah ta'ala. Okay, we're gonna depart on the 5th of December at 7:15 p.m. Okay, on the 5th of December, so that's a Thursday. From Singapore, we're going to fly to Abu Dhabi, and then we are going to fly from Abu Dhabi to Jeddah, landing in Jeddah at 4:30 a.m. Okay, 4:30 a.m. So now, an important point is that we have to transfer between terminals. Okay, we'll land at Terminal 1 in Jeddah, and then we have to take a bus from Terminal 1. It's not that far. Okay, but we still have to go through the procedures of getting on the bus, loading our bags, and then alighting from the bus, you know, and then checking in at another terminal. So we still have to do all that. Okay, so we land at 4:30, inshallah ta'ala. There'll be sufficient time for us to travel to the other terminal. The other terminal is called the North Terminal. Okay, North Terminal, and then we'll depart from Jeddah to Seoul at 11:30 a.m. Saudi time, which is also Yemen time, 11:30 a.m. and then we'll arrive in Seoul in Hadramawt at 1:30 p.m. So when people are performing Salatul Jum'ah, this is on Friday, so we'll arrive or just after the time of Jum'ah. Okay, so yeah, so that's our flight information. And then this is our return flight information. Okay, there'll be two groups, because one group is going for Umrah with us, and the other group is heading back to Singapore straight. So the one that's going for Umrah, inshallah ta'ala, we arrive from Seoul in Jeddah. Why is it like this? 20th December. 20th December. Okay, so we arrive in Jeddah. We arrive in Jeddah at 10:30 a.m. At 10:30. It's correct. We arrive. So we depart from Seoul at 8 a.m. So we'll have to vacate our apartments and all that early in the morning before Fajr. We'll pray Fajr, inshallah ta'ala, either on the road or in the apartments. And then we'll depart from Seoul to Jeddah at 8 a.m. and then we'll arrive in Jeddah at 10:30 a.m. 10:30 a.m. So there'll be a group that will be traveling from Jeddah to Singapore on that day itself at 3 p.m. So you arrive at 10:30 a.m. and then you move from the North Terminal to the main terminals, Terminal 1, and then you'll have time to spare, inshallah ta'ala, before your flights from Jeddah to Singapore. The rest of us, inshallah ta'ala, will be heading to Medina from terminal, from the North Terminal, inshallah ta'ala. No, we reached Singapore on the 27th of December. Yeah, at 8:20 a.m. We can give them the flight numbers already. You can give the flight details. We'll send you, inshallah ta'ala. Okay. Oh yeah, and we'll have 30 kg per person. Okay. So for those of you who are performing Umrah, and if you're planning to bring back Zamzam, you know that you have to make allocation for that now, because this includes the Zamzam, right? It includes the Zamzam, so you cannot. So if you're planning to take back the 5 liter bottle of Zamzam, then you should pack. You should make provisions to pack only up till 25 kg. Okay. If you can do that, there are a lot of things to buy. Okay, Tarim and accommodation. Okay, we'll talk a little bit about where we're going. Okay, we're going to Tarim, which is located in the Hadramawt Valley in southern Arabia. It's about 180 kilometers inland. It has a population of about 60,000. Don't take my word for it, because we don't know when these numbers were taken and how they get it anyway, because I don't think they have a proper department of statistics in Yemen, but that's what it says. I think it's probably an estimate. Okay, but there are lots of foreign students anyway in Tarim itself. The landscape, it's a desert landscape, okay, surrounded by valleys. It's actually quite beautiful when we are there. I'll show you some pictures, inshallah ta'ala. Okay, the economy of Tarim, there are traders, builders, farmers, scholars, okay, many of the traders, we know that they don't have natural resources in Tarim, and a lot of the locals actually depend on trade, and this is actually quite evident when you look at the Hadrami Arabs who have come and lived with us in our lands. Many of them came as traders or as scholars. So yeah, that's really what Sarim is about. There are districts called Khilaf, Souk, Aidid, Nuwaidara, and Mehdar. There are many other estates as well. We'll mention them as we go along, inshallah ta'ala. I'm not going to test you on this. And that's not going to test on this. Test on Khulasa Nurul Yakin, inshallah. Okay, our accommodation, we're gonna stay at an apartment called Inas 1. Okay, it is along Sharit Darul Mustafa in Aidid, Tarim. So you'll just be walking distance from Darul Mustafa, about maybe 200-300 meters from Darul Mustafa and Darul Zahra. So it's a good place that you're going to stay in, inshallah ta'ala. Okay, meals full board, inshallah ta'ala. Will provide you with snacks. Okay, no, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, inshallah ta'ala. Okay, so very important. Okay, the type of apartments that we are staying in. Okay, we're gonna have shared accommodation. We've already allocated rooms, so the families will stay together, inshallah ta'ala. Okay, the couples will also be with each other. It's just the bujangs, the men who are either single or they are traveling without their partners, you will be put together, and likewise the ladies as well. So there are lots of ladies who are traveling without partners, so you'll be put in a shared accommodation. So it's something that you just have to be mentally prepared for, because I mean, you're not going to be in the comfort of your own room without sharing it with anyone, if just in case someone is expecting that. Tamam. Okay. Okay, 5 minutes walk to Darul Mustafa and Darul Zahra. Okay, so now we'll talk about Tarim, inshallah ta'ala. So Tarim, what is it known for? What is it known for? To me, actually, Tarim is a home of pious people. Okay, the home of the Salihin, the ulama. Okay, so many of us, maybe when we mention Tarim, the first image that comes to mind is Habib Umar bin Hafiz. Whenever Tarim is mentioned, maybe most of us will imagine that we would associate Tarim with Habib Umar, and indeed it is home to many scholars, saints and pious people. Okay, and inshallah ta'ala we'll meet some scholars and saints and pious people from the people of Tarim, inshallah ta'ala. Okay, and as you all, I would assume that most of you would already know that the Hadramawt Valley in Yemen is a place that is blessed with being filled with many descendants of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, in particular those from Sada Ba'alawi. And inshallah ta'ala, throughout our journey, we'll explain, inshallah ta'ala, what the Al-Ba'alawi is, what the Tariqa Ba'alawi is, inshallah ta'ala. Of course, up to our ability to, or up to the level where we actually know what it is. And on the authority of Jubair bin Mut'im, who said that we were with the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam on the road between Mecca and Medina, and he said, the people of Yemen are on the verge of ascending upon you as if they are clouds. They are the best people on earth. So this is actually one of the hadiths that mentions the fadilah, the virtues of the Ahlul Yemen. There are many other hadiths where Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam mentions about Yemen and the Sham, that you can find iman in them. Ala kulli hal, there are many virtues of Yemen, and it's just important that I mention this because in last year's pre-departure trip, the Ziyarah briefing, I actually did something. Which I almost forgot that I actually did it, which was actually to start the presentation with a picture of Mickey Mouse and Disneyland. Yeah, because And I did that actually in jest, but also to inject into us a sense of reality, because you will see many things in Tarim, in Hadramawt, in Yemen, you know. Just like if you go to California, you could see Disneyland. You could go to California for Disneyland, or you could go to California for Sheikh Hamza Yusuf, for example, you know, and the Zaituna Institute. So it's really just important for me to place this in your minds, that we are going to visit a place which actually gives birth, you know, to pious people. Many pious people have come out from these lands, and this is what we are going to witness, inshallah ta'ala. Tamam. So that inshallah ta'ala, if you don't place this in your mind, then you might see the other side of Yemen, which you will see, but inshallah ta'ala, it's something that you can put aside. Okay, and we'll talk about that inshallah ta'ala more specifically later on. So there are activities in Tarim, inshallah ta'ala, throughout our Rehlah, and activities outside of Tarim. We'll start with our activities in Tarim. Okay, there are a number of things that we will do. Okay, we'll do Qiyamul Lail, inshallah ta'ala, every night. Okay, let's put in the azam, okay, intention that we'll wake up every night before Fajr, and 1 hour before Fajr we'll be in Darul Mustafa. We'll perform Qiyamul Lail, and we'll join in the pre-dawn adhkar, okay, right up to Salatul Fajr, and then we'll do the dhikr, and we'll attend classes with Habib Omar before we go on and proceed with our other activities. Okay, so Qiyamul Lail will be a feature, and we'll talk about that also. There'll be Ziyarah of Zambal. That's for those of you who are not familiar with Zambal. It sounds like sambal, right? But it's not sambal, it's Zambal. It's Zambal. It's the one of the 3 cemeteries, the main cemeteries in Tarim, yeah, in Tarim, and we'll be visiting it a number of times, inshallah ta'ala. So this will be part of our activities. And then we'll also meet, we'll have ziyarah to the scholars and the salihin, inshallah ta'ala. We'll have private classes and public lectures that we will attend. So we'll arrange some classes for you, inshallah ta'ala. Okay, and there'll be also public lectures like the Madras, the Roha, and the Ihya Ulumuddin. These are all legendary classes. Okay, some of these classes have gone on for hundreds of years, you know. So it's just a blessing for you to be there, and for you to just sit amongst the people who have made mulazama of these gatherings. Yeah? We'll also do some ziyarah to blessed places outside of the city of Tarim. The word outside is typed twice here. Okay. We'll have ziyarah masajid, so we'll visit the masjids, and we'll tell you actually what we can do when we visit masajids, inshallah ta'ala. And yeah, and also we'll have local gatherings like hadras, mawalid, and salawat sessions. Salawat sessions, there are no salawat sessions for men except on Friday evening at Darul Mustafa. The ladies have a lot of these, a lot more of these, in fact, than men. So the men who go out for da'wah, and this I'm not saying this in jest, this is actually true. The men who go out and da'wah, they know that they are supported by the ladies, the people of Tarim, who make lots of dua for the success of their da'wah. So there's a lot of spirituality that goes on to the activities of the men when they go out for da'wah. So when we see people like Habib Kadhim and Habib Muhammad Al-Idrus coming here, you know, sitting down with us in Singapore, we know that actually what goes on at the back. So this is like the engine room, which you never see. Okay, so actually I should talk to the ladies. This is the engine room. You are the engine room that we don't see, that we don't see in Singapore. So a lesson to learn. Okay, when your men go out, stay at home and make lots of dua for your men, inshallah ta'ala. Okay, good question. Okay, so these lectures will be in Arabic. Okay, so and Habib Umar's morning daras is not translated. Okay, neither is the madras or the roha. So what we can do is I can try to jot down as much as I can. Okay, and then I'll share with you, inshallah ta'ala, at least some main points from each lesson. Yeah. You're a student at Irshad. Huh? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's not like the Arabic that you learn in school. Yeah. I mean, that's a bit robotic. Nobody actually speaks Arabic like that. Just like nobody speaks Arabic. Nobody speaks English like Shakespeare, you know. Yeah, but anyway, inshallah ta'ala, you'll be, if you have learned Arabic, you know, inshallah ta'ala, you'll be able to pick up some words, you know, ana, anta, antum. You'll be able to pick up some pronouns. You can pick up some things, inshallah ta'ala, and then we'll fill you in as much as we can. And we make lots of dua that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grants you futuh, and then inshallah ta'ala you'll be one of those people inshallah ta'ala who will be translating for the habaib in future when they come. Okay, inshallah ta'ala. What's your name? Huh? Umar. Okay, Umar. Inshallah you're gonna meet Habib Umar inshallah ta'ala. Okay, so you'll become Aba Salim inshallah ta'ala, like Habib Umar. Tamam. Okay. So yeah, they won't be translated. So we'll just I'll make it a point to just take down notes and to pass you a message. Of course, you will think that actually the lecture by Habib Umar was a good half an hour, and then Khairuddin speaks about it for 5 minutes. 5 minutes. I'll try my best, inshallah ta'ala. Okay. Yeah. Indeed. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so this is this is what we're gonna do inshallah ta'ala. Okay, 1 hour before Fajr. Okay, this is our aim. Okay, so please put in lots of good intentions. We'll be at DM and DZ Darul Mustafa Darul Zahra 1 hour before Fajr so that we can participate in Qiyamul Lail. Okay, we'll pray Fajr there. Okay, we'll pray Fajr there. Yeah. Because sometimes I put down apartments there because there are some days where we'll have to actually move out early, okay, or we may not be there. Okay, so those we'll talk about the details later on. Yeah, after that at duha time inshallah ta'ala, so we'll sit through the entire Fajr Daras of Habib Umar for the men. For the ladies, I think you have something arranged every day. So you'll do that. So we'll be there for the dhikr and then the daras. And then at duha time, that's when we go out for our ziyarah, or we'll have additional daras, or maybe the ladies will have salawat sessions and so on to attend. And at the time of Zohor, inshallah ta'ala, it'll be winter, but Zohor time will still be quite hot. So we'll be indoors, inshallah ta'ala. We'll be having a lunch, and that will be our rest time. At Asar, we will go out again. Maybe some days we will spend time at Darul Mustafa. We'll attend the Roha at Darul Mustafa. Some other days, maybe we'll go out for Hadras, or we might go out for Ziyarahs. We might visit the Salihin at this time. So it depends on what we have for each day. Each day will be different, inshallah ta'ala. But this is just like roughly how your day will look like. Between Maghrib and Isha, okay, we'll be at Darul Mustafa, Darul Zahra. If you're not out for Ziyarah, inshallah ta'ala, to pray Maghrib, and then we'll do Hizib Quran. So we'll gather and then we'll recite Quran amongst us, inshallah ta'ala. So we'll take tabarruk, we'll take the barakah of performing Hizib Quran, because this is something that is from the adat of the people of Tarim. Habib Alwi said that we are thankful to certain people. Habib Alwi bin Shihab, he mentions that there are 3 people that you should be thankful to. The first one is who? Sayyidina Faqih Muqaddam, for breaking the sword. The second person is, he mentioned Sheikh Fadl, Sheikh Fadl bin Abdurrahman, Sheikh Fadl bin Salim, Sheikh Fadl bin Salim Bafadl. Sheikh Salim bin Fadl Bafadl, Sheikh Salim bin Fadl Bafadl, for establishing the Hizib Quran Baina Maghrib wa Isha. That it is actually an adat of the people of Tarim that they don't do anything else except things related to dini matters between Maghrib and Isha. And in fact, when we were studying Bidayatul Hidayah with our teachers in Tarim, they would tell us that even eating, drinking, going to the toilet and showering, doing these things at Maghrib time, between Maghrib and Isha, is considered to be abath. You know, like just a waste of good time that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given to you. Okay, so it's from the adat of the people of Tarim. So we don't get to do this every day, but inshallah ta'ala, whilst we are in Tarim, we have that opportunity. We'll take a barakah of the adat of the people of Tarim, and we'll do that inshallah ta'ala. Okay, and then Isha time. Okay, Isha time, we'll spend time actually at either the masajid or the apartments, depending on what we have. Okay, we might have daras to attend, or it might just be our rest time, depending on what we have that day and the next day. Okay, Qiyamul Lail. Okay, so I mentioned it just now, so I think there's no need for us to repeat this whole thing. But I do want to tell you, for those of you who don't already have the Ba'alawi app or the Khulasa app, you should download either one or both of them, and try to follow through the pre-Fajr recitations, so that actually you get familiar with hearing it, and you can participate and join in the recitations, inshallah ta'ala. Okay, or you can find it on YouTube as well, inshallah. Okay, this is just to prepare you for Qiyamul Lail. Okay, and then we'll have we're still at activities in Tarim, so we'll have Ziyarah Zambal. Okay, Zambal cemetery is the resting place of many of the great Ahlul Bayt, descendants of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Okay, and this is actually from something that I actually wrote. But beyond being just a cemetery, Zambal is a sanctuary for hearts seeking spiritual illumination, to look to the awliya of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who are already in the hadra, the divine presence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this is my statement from my own post. So I said that there's a calmness in it that is not found in any other cemetery. I say this because it is true. I spoke to a lot of visitors to Tarim from Singapore, from Malaysia, and they all tell me the same thing. I wouldn't sit down here at Maghrib and Isha and be reading dhikr or reading the Quran. If it were any other cemetery in the world, I would not feel like this. I only feel like this only in Zambal. Only in this cemetery I feel comfortable, and I can actually take my time. I can be alone doing the ratib in front of the grave of Imam Haddad, and I don't feel fear. In fact, I feel a certain calmness. It's just something that we talked about Ainul Yaqeen, and there's another level which is called Hakul Yaqeen. It's just something that you just have to be there and to do it, for you to experience and feel it, and to say, yes, actually, it's really a place like no other. There's no other cemetery that's like it. Okay. So like I have a post on muwasalasg.com about Zambal, so you can read it, inshallah ta'ala. Just go and look for I think you can type a search, or yeah, you can type a search, or you can there's a post on Zambal which you can find there. Okay. Or I can send you this link, in fact. Yeah. And yes. Okay. Okay, so there are hadras that we will attend, inshallah ta'ala. So I put in actually a description of what hadras is, but we don't have time to read through this. So there's some hadras that we will attend, inshallah ta'ala. So for the men, we'll attend Hadra Bat Saudan and the hadra of Sayyidina Abdurrahman as-Sagaf. And inshallah ta'ala, we'll have an opportunity to also be present at the hadra of Sayyidatina Khadijah at Maula Guere, inshallah ta'ala. Okay. For the ladies, you have one extra hadra, which is the hadra of Sayyidina Idrus. No, not Sayyidina Idrus. Hadra al-Idrus. Hadra al-Idrus. So these are gatherings that you will attend. There'll be Ziyarah Masajid. Okay. Yeah. So you can. Actually, sometimes I just for anybody who travels with me, I usually take it upon myself to explain to the person the benefits of making ziyarah to a masjid, because it's a concept that I would say is normally foreign to most Singaporeans. You know, the common Singaporean would not understand when we say, let's ziyarah masajid, you know. So what's there to do at the masjid, you know? So I have a post on what's in a ziyarah, which talks about the benefits of ziyarah masajid and some of the things that we can do. So inshallah ta'ala, you can read it, find it on my Facebook post. I can send you the link inshallah ta'ala, so that you can read about it, and you can also follow me. Okay, not follow me physically, but follow me on Facebook, inshallah. Okay, so we'll be visiting some of the old masajid of Tarim, Ba'alawi, Segaf, Aidros, Mehdar, and Wa'el, inshallah ta'ala. Yeah. And there'll be gatherings and visitations. So there'll be many gatherings like this, inshallah ta'ala, where we won't even have place to sit inside the rabats or the masjid, but there's much barakah in it, inshallah ta'ala. So I'll send you the slides. You can read this, inshallah ta'ala. And I wanted to mention to you also actually the benefits of visiting the Salihin. And to me, actually, this is actually one of the highlights of going to Tarim, when we actually get to sit in the homes of the awliya and the Salihin, and to actually interact with them and ask them questions and ask them for nasiha. Okay, so inshallah ta'ala, we'll be doing this as well. Okay, visitations outside of Tarim. Okay, so apart from being that Tarim is where we're going to be based, but we're going to also going to be travel to some of the cities outside of Tarim. Okay, they'll be starting with a 2-day 1-night visitation to Wadi Doan. So we'll go around, we'll visit the maqamats in the Doan area, and the ones that we'll come across along the way towards when we travel towards Doan, and we'll cap it all off, inshallah ta'ala, with a stay, a 1-night stay at this stunning chalet or hotel, yeah, called Bokshan. Okay, so those of you who want to swim, you can bring swimming gear, not swimming trunks. Swimming gear, that means you wear 3/4 pants, or you wear like running pants with a t-shirt on. Okay, again, nobody's going to be bare-bodied in, but you can swim, inshallah ta'ala. Okay, you can swim. It's quite nice when we go there. Okay, so we'll do that, and then we'll continue on with our visitation, inshallah ta'ala, to places that are along the road. There's Hurairah, the home of Habib Umar bin Abdurrahman Al-Attas, and the other Al-Attas that are buried there, including Habib Ahmad bin Hassan. Yeah. We'll have a short stop over at Shibam as well. All these things you can find, inshallah ta'ala, on my Facebook, and I've put in like UNESCO mentions of Shibam. I actually have a Facebook, a set of Facebook posts on a day spent in Shibam, but you won't get to do all those things that I did, because we actually spent a few hours. Ours will be just a short visit down, because we're going to cover a lot of places. Okay, and we'll also have a trip to the city of the neighboring city of Seun. So some of you might think, what is the long night? Does anybody know what a long night is? You know what a long night is? You know what a midsummer's night is? Ustazah Diana, do you know what a long night is? You know what it say? No. So anyway, the name of one of the names of Seun is Layla Tawila. Yeah, it's actually called Layla Tawila. Okay, it's actually called long night. They say because Seun is actually a long stretch. It's a long stretch. It's built along a long stretch of road. So the locals call it Layla Tawila. It's not circular. It's not circular. So it's straight. So maybe you can say that actually it's a little bit like Pasir Ris. It's a little bit like Pasir Ris. It's a long stretch, and then the homes are built along that stretch. So we're gonna visit the city of Seun, which is home to many of the great saints of this ummah. including Habib Ali al-Habshi. So you all would be familiar with Habib Ali al-Habshi. Will visit his Rabat, inshallah ta'ala. Habib Abdurrahman bin Ali al-Sagaf, the grandfather of Habib Abdul Qadir bin Ahmad al-Sagaf, and many of the Sagafs that are in Singapore. His Gubba is actually just opposite the Gubba of Habib Ali al-Habshi, and a lot of people actually miss it. But I say Singaporeans have to visit it. Because there are a lot of people who are actually descended from Abdurrahman bin Ali, and he has a branch of Sagaf on his own. They are called Bengali, and even in fact, people like Said Idros's mother, Ustazah Badriya, she's from Bengali. So when you go to Seun, you ask for their family, you don't ask for Sagaf, because there are many Sagafs, you ask for Bengali. Okay, and then Habib Abu Bakar bin Taha Sagaf. Anybody knows who Habib Abu Bakar bin Taha Sagaf is? Shanawaz, you know? Yeah. The mudir of Madrasah Al-Junaid. The first mudir of Madrasah Al-Junaid. Habib Abu Bakar bin Taha Sagaf, he's buried there as well. So inshallah ta'ala, we'll have an opportunity to visit him. Habib Ali bin Abdullah Sagaf, the famous student of Imam Haddad, and also the famous Sufi and poet, Sheikh Umar bin Abdullah Bamakramah. And then we'll visit the Hauta of Habib Ahmad bin Zain. So this is another day. We'll have another trip, inshallah ta'ala. So Seun is a trip on its own. And then we'll have a trip where we'll go towards Hauta, and we'll stop at some other places, including Ghurfa, to visit the tomb of Habib Idros bin Umar al-Habshi and Habib Hassan bin Saleh al-Bahr al-Jufri. And then we'll go on towards the Hauta of Habib Ahmad bin Zain, where we'll visit Habib Ahmad bin Zain as well as his descendants, inshallah ta'ala. So inshallah ta'ala, there's a lot of things that I've said here, but we don't have time to talk about it. Okay, then we'll have a trip to the west of Tarim. So if you look at the map of Hadramawt, this is west of Tarim. We'll have a day trip to Ainat, Qasam, and Ziyarah of Nabi Allah Hud alayhi salam, inshallah ta'ala. So we'll visit the grave of Shaykh Abu Bakr bin Salim and Sayyidina Ahmad bin al-Faqih at Qasam, inshallah ta'ala, before we arrive at Nabi Allah Hud. And there's a trip that I call, you don't quote me because there's no such naming convention. It's my naming convention, west of Tarim and east of Tarim. So there'll be another day where we'll travel east of Tarim, where we'll visit places like we'll visit Sayyidina Muhajir at Husaisa. We'll visit Habib Abdullah bin Hussein bin Tahir and his brother Habib Tahir bin Hussein bin Tahir, and we'll visit also something that a lot of people miss, Habib Abdullah bin Omar bin Yahya, the first Imam of Masjid Omar Kampung Melaka. Okay, he's buried in Maseleh. So inshallah ta'ala, we'll visit him as well. Okay, Sheikha Sultana and Abdurrahman Bajal Haban as well, Nabi Hanzalah. Okay, and then for those, of course, this is not for the faint-hearted. We'll be climbing, inshallah ta'ala, the Jabal that houses the body of the Jasad of the great companion, Sayyidina Abad bin Bishir, who is the grandfather, the ascendants of the Al-Khatib, of the Khatibs. And this is something that, again, I mean, some people they don't put this in their agenda, but I put this in our tertib, because when I first came to Hadramawt in 2012, when I first visited Hadramawt, Ustaz Abu Zaki said, for Singaporeans, it's make it lazim for them, for those who can do it, for them to visit the great companion Sayyidina Abad bin Bishir. Why? Because he is the grandfather of Shaykh Umar bin Abdullah Al-Khatib, who lived with us, who taught our teachers. So we've taken a lot of benefit from one of his descendants. So make it a point to visit Sayyidina Abad bin Bishir. He was a companion of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he's buried in a town that was called Lisik. Now it's called Korea, in Hadramawt. Inshallah ta'ala, we'll make it a point to visit him. And after talking about all these visitations, there are obviously, like anything Islamic that we do, there are manners relating to these visitations. So there are a number of things that we'd like to mention to you. You'll meet lots of different people that come in lots of different shapes and sizes. And we just have to have good opinion of everyone when we go and visit them. And well, you remember when at Syekh Ahmad Sa'ad's talk, is that one of the mistakes that the awam makes is that they mistake the awliya and the salihin for ulama. They think that these are ulama and maybe they want to ask a fatwa to this person. Yeah. So we know that we are visiting the awliya and the salihin, and they are different from the ulama. Okay. The discussion of what is the difference between them will take another lecture, so we won't talk about it now. But basically, you have to know that when you visit these people, have good one of them, have good opinion of them, that inshallah ta'ala, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give you based on your mashhad. There's a famous saying, al-madad ala qadr al-mashhad. That the Arabs will say that whatever assistance that you get out of that visit, what rewards you get from that, it depends on what you see, what you envision from that visitation. Okay, so we'll have good zone of people, inshallah ta'ala. We'll respect people's culture, language, and dress codes, and we'll try to dress like them. So does anybody have a problem with wearing jubbah for the men? You have a problem with wearing jubbah or shimis and sarung? No problem. No problem. Okay. So, and then if you land in Hadramawt and then you see people dressed in office attire, don't point at me, Ustad. You said that no one. No, there are people who work in offices who will dress like that. Okay. And not to complain about the amenities. Okay. Being patient when things do not go as planned. Okay. And this is very important. Photos. So don't take photos when you are in private visits. Please don't take photos unless you have asked for permission. For the women, I would say that the default is no photos. Correct? Default is there'll be no photos. In fact, there's nothing other than the default, right? It's absolute, right? No photos. No photos. So don't take photos, and don't even record voices. Okay, unless if you really want to do it, you ask for permission, like if you are in a hadra or something like that, where the voices are not clearly one person's voice, but it's drowned voices. You can ask our organizers whether it's okay for this gathering or not. Okay, if they say that it's not okay, then just leave it. Okay, don't record it, because it's not something that is haram to record and to hear a person's voice, but we respect that this is the adat of the people of Tarim, of the people of Hadramawt, and we will just comply with their culture, inshallah ta'ala. Okay, and this set of slides obviously was not prepared by me. Okay, because I wouldn't put this probably like a bull or something, yeah. So ala kulli hal, okay, you have to prepare yourself mentally. There are things that we will come across in during our travels. We'll have simple food, inshallah ta'ala. Okay, the lifestyle will be different from the lifestyle in Singapore. There'll be electricity cuts. Okay, the good thing is that we're traveling in winter, so the cuts are also less. And there's a good reason for that. The reason is that people don't need electricity as much, and that's why they don't cut. Because it's cool already. Okay. Poor internet connection. There's someone there. Oh no. Okay. Okay. Okay, poor internet connection, cold, dry, and sandy climate. Okay, so then there'll be a packing list that we'll talk about, inshallah ta'ala. Cultural and language differences. Okay, culturally they are different from us. The ladies are asking me to skim through everything, but I can't stop myself from talking about some of these things. Like, for example, I just have to say that, for example, that I don't know of any other culture where they practice segregation, between gender segregation, as much as they do in Yemen generally, and also in particular in the city of Tarim. And they take this a step further, that generally speaking, nobody mentions the names of ladies in Tarim in particular. In Seun, they might mention it a little bit every now and then, but it's considered to be something of bad adab for you to mention. Like if I'm talking to you and I know your wife's name and I actually mention her by name, it's something that the people generally, scholars or non-scholars, they would consider it like something that's not quite nice. Why you mention my wife's name? You have something to do with her or what? So something like that. And it said that the people of Tarim, they don't mention the names of women except in 3 situations. When they are born, okay, when they get married, because we have to mention it during the akad. There's no way for you to not mention it. And the 3rd situation is when they pass on. So these are the only situations where they actually mention a lady's name, a lady by name. If not, they will refer to her as someone's mother or someone's wife. Yeah. So it's something that you have to be sensitive about when you talk to people there. Okay. So there are cultural differences, and I made this mistake actually when I went, and I think in my first year I sent my wife to a gathering. So I actually asked this guy on the street, Hubaba so and so is at this. I said, I don't know. So he just sped off like as if like it was like it was something that was forbidden, to hear. Like I shouldn't know these things, and I only came to understand this actually many months into my stay in Sarim. Tamam. Okay. Unexpected schedule changes. Yeah, so there might be schedule changes because of maybe the availability of the scholars that we are visiting. So expect these things. Okay, the roads are bumpy, long, and winding. So I hope nobody has motion sickness. Nobody has motion sickness. Inshallah ta'ala, even if you had motion sickness, your motion sickness will be cured when you arrive in Hadramawt, inshallah ta'ala. Okay, back-to-back visitation. So our activities, we are actually going to be packed. Our timetable is going to be packed with activities. Qiyamul Lail, and then adhkar, lessons, and then breakfast, and then visitations. So expect that. Okay. Fast-paced recitations of litanies. I think this probably refers to the pace at which the people of Tarim actually read the adhkar. We are more accustomed to melodious recitation, whereas they actually speed through their recitations. So it's something that you just have to adjust, and there's good reason for it. And I wish I could have more time to talk to you about it, because you actually get to achieve a lot when you get accustomed to fast-paced recitations, and it just needs a little bit of training. Okay. Attire, your attire must be dignified. So don't just cover the aura, but we say that actually you must have clothing that is appropriate with muru'ah, with being a dignified person. We'll have examples of it, inshallah ta'ala, shortly. Okay, so women, this is your dress, okay, throughout your stay. Tamam? Okay, so you're gonna be dressed like this. Nobody's going to see you throughout your time in Hadramawt. Okay, you can talk to the ladies about this. For the men, so wear long sleeve shirts, white baju kurung. It says here white baju kurung, but I put in this word here, shimis. This is what the Arabs call this. It's probably from an Indian word, which I've not yet figured out what it is. So this is a shimis. So you can wear a shimis with a sarung, okay, or jubba. Generally, the men don't wear pants there. So it's considered, actually pants is considered for the people of Tarim, it's considered to be underwear. It's clothes that you wear under your jubba. So wear something over it, inshallah ta'ala. For Singapore, it's okay. Okay, for Singapore, it's okay for you to be dressed as how we are normally dressed. And I also just want to make it a point that there are things that we should there's also a dress code when we are in the apartments, okay, with amongst each other. Okay, we shouldn't like just because we are in the comfort of our own homes, that doesn't mean that we can wear like Bermudas and sleeveless t-shirts. This is something that's also considered to be an aib. So in fact, Bermudas should be something that you wear inside, and then you wear a sarung over it, and don't wear a sleeveless t-shirt. If you must wear a t-shirt, go and get a t-shirt with a white t-shirt with a sleeve. You can get Pagoda. Pagoda has a you know Pagoda. Pagoda brand. There's also Uniqlo. So they just get white t-shirts, you know, instead of sleeveless. Tamam. So you can dress like this or like this, inshallah ta'ala. Okay. This door is here for whatever reason, I don't know. Okay. Okay. We talk about shopping in Tarim. Shopping in Tarim. So the women, there are many shops, but you're not allowed to just roam freely and go into any shop at any time. Okay. There are restrictions for women going to shops. This is like a bit of a paradise for men, for the husbands. Alhamdulillah. Ala kulli hal. The men, we are free to we can roam around, we can go to shops, we can go to supermarkets. But women, they don't get access to just to the shops at any time they want to. So if you do need to visit a shop to buy honey and things like that, don't just walk into the shop, but arrange with us, and we'll arrange with the shopkeepers an appropriate time, inshallah ta'ala, where men don't usually frequent at that time, and then we'll go in together, we'll do our shopping, and then we'll leave together, inshallah ta'ala. Okay. But there's one place which you can go to. Okay, this probably put in by the ustadats here. You can go to Darul Zahra bookshop. Okay, that's open for you to visit and to shop in. So it's a good place to buy books. It's a good place to buy books, and yeah. And this is the only place where you can go and walk in freely and shop freely. So chances are, if the ladies really have an urge to shop, buy books. Okay, buy books for your husbands, inshallah ta'ala. Packing list. Okay, there are a number of things. Yes. Go through currency. Okay, we'll go through currency. Okay, so yeah. So what you need to bring to Tarim, your U-Trip cards and your WISE cards will not work in Tarim. They don't have this system. So we transact with cash. Okay, you need to bring US dollars, because generally speaking, the money changes there, they only accept US dollars and Saudi Riyal. Okay, almost exclusively, only these two currencies are convertible in Yemen to local currency, to Yemeni Riyal. Okay, so ideally you should bring 100 US dollar notes. So if you do an exchange here from Singapore dollars to US dollars, get them to issue you $100 notes. So buy in denominations of multiples of hundreds or 50s. Okay, don't get 20s, because the rates that you will get will be very bad. Okay, likewise 10, 5s. These are all no-nos lah. Okay, or you could, if you prefer Saudi Riyal, because some of us will be going to perform Umrah. If you prefer Saudi Riyal, then bring Saudi Riyal notes. Okay, Saudi Riyal notes. So just remember that the US dollar notes must be minimum 2009 series and above. Okay, so no notes issued before 2009. They shouldn't be crumpled. Okay, if you find that you get crumpled notes, you should iron them. We actually do it. Okay, you should iron them so that they look crisp. And they shouldn't be stained. Sometimes US dollar notes, you will find, for some reason or another, we find that the purple ink on stamps on a lot of US dollar notes. So they will accept there, but they will accept with a lower rate of exchange. Okay, so try to get good US dollar notes lah. Okay, so we also have something here on US dollar SAR parity. So 100 US dollars, you can get 375 SAR. Saudi Riyal. This is on 24th of October. And US dollar Yemeni Riyal parity is 100 US dollars. You get about 190,000 Yemeni Riyals. Okay. Tamam. Okay, SIM cards. We can get you SIM cards when we're there. Okay, we just have to mention there are a number of things that are useful for you to note. Even if you get a SIM card with data, the data there is really bad. Okay, so the best thing for you to do if you really need to use the internet is to actually wait until you go back to the apartments and use the internet at the apartments. Okay. And then we'll have another problem, which is every one of us will be trying to log on at the same time, and then we'll jam up and the network again. Okay, ala kulli hal, from our experience, that is still better than trying to connect with data whilst you're traveling on the roads. So expect that if you have something that you have to attend to for work or something like that, you know that actually there'll be 2 days where we'll be out of Tarim and in Doan. So the network is even worse in Doan. So expect that. I think you should update your colleagues or something like that if you have work commitments where you have to actually use the internet. Okay. Tamam. Okay, and you can actually do Zoom or Google video calls, and you can use WhatsApp for messaging. Again, the best place to do this is when you're back in the apartments. Okay, it'll be winter, so you have to bring along long johns, heat tech wear, thermal wear, jackets to protect you from the cool weather. Okay, thick socks, moisturizers. Moisturizers is actually very important. One of the things that we usually experience, I think you would have experienced that as well last year. So you've been to Tarim in summer and in winter, both winter. Winter. Okay. So yeah, actually you get cracked heels, you know, your skin gets dried up very quickly. So use moisturizers. And if you need medications, bring your medication with you. Okay, we have this is a list of recommended things for you to bring. Okay, so we'll share these slides and you can look at it later on. Inshallah ta'ala. Yeah, these things as well. Notebooks and pens. This is very important because you'll be attending classes, so you'll want to take down notes, inshallah ta'ala. Okay. Medication, torchlights, power banks, okay, neck pillows, okay, because we might have a number of road trips, so this will come in useful. Okay, if you want to have gifts for the habaib, I would recommend that I think good gifts would be either dodol or what? Lempuk. Dodol, lempuk. These are things that we know that they will definitely like. And sarung. Sarung. Udang kering. These are things that they really like, because these are exotic things, you know. They don't get this very easily in Yemen, and they really appreciate this, you know. And they know that a lot of habaib, big habaibs, when they travel out, they always talk about eating durian. So this is like dodol and lempuk is the closest thing that those people who don't travel out will get to experience, the closest thing to durian that they'll get to experience. Okay. Okay, this is something that's very important. Okay, contingency plan. Okay, alhamdulillah, we have an itinerary, a travel itinerary. So we're supposed to travel out from Singapore on the night of 5th December, arrive in Jeddah on the 6th of December. Okay, in the morning, and then we're gonna take a flight from Jeddah to Seoul. I don't know if you all are familiar with this, but the flights, the Yemeni flights, they are not commercial flights. Okay, and when we say that they're not commercial flights, that means that they are actually put in place by the government actually to facilitate mainly people who need to travel for medical attention or people who need to travel for business, because otherwise nobody will serve that route, you know, from Jeddah to Seoul if the government doesn't put it in place. And that's why the flights are very, very expensive. They are extremely expensive. Okay. Yeah, and just to give you a picture, actually sometimes they even cost more. And most of the time they cost more than our flights from Singapore to Jeddah. We can travel from Singapore to Jeddah and Singapore to Cairo, but traveling into Yemen will cost more than that, you know. So it's very expensive. And also the operators have a right to push back or to bring forward the flight. Okay, which means that actually there is a risk that if something happens, if they decide to bring it forward, we might not make it for the flight. Okay, this is something that that may or may not happen, but we ask all of you to make lots of dua, to make zikr ya tarim wa ahlaha every day, at least 100 times. Yeah, make tawassul and what have you, that our flights actually go on as planned, because generally speaking they go on as planned. However, certain weeks they may change it. Okay, so we hope that it doesn't happen to us. They change it on a week that that doesn't affect our flights, inshallah ta'ala. Okay, so should that happen, we discussed with our service providers in Tarim. They said that there's the flights from Jeddah into Seoul is just once a week. Okay, it's just once a week. So we can't wait for the next flight if that happens. Okay, so what do we have to do? We have to get another flight from Jeddah to a place called Sharura. Okay, so from Jeddah to Sharura. So in fact, we have to fly from Jeddah to Riyadh to Sharura, and then we'll have to take a bus from Sharura to Tarim, which takes about 4 hours, inshallah ta'ala. So it's not really that long. Relax lah, 4 hours only, you know. So if that happens, to kick in this contingency plan, we have to buy tickets. You know, we have to buy tickets. We have to check into hotels. So we calculated it, and we think that actually we'll have to actually incur a cost of about $500 per person. Inshallah ta'ala, we don't have to get to this, but if it does happen, we will need your supports and your cooperation to actually support us with this purchase of to acquire the hotel rooms and to purchase the tickets to get to Sharura, and then take the bus from Sharura to Tarim. Okay, inshallah ta'ala, this will more than cover the cost, and we will only take whatever we need in order to get to Tarim. Okay, tamam. Yeah. Sharura is in Saudi Arabia. It's still in Saudi Arabia, but it's already at the Saudi Yemeni border. Okay, it's already at the Saudi Yemeni border. But in order to get there, we have to fly from Jeddah to Riyadh. So we fly eastwards. Okay, we fly eastwards first, and then we have to fly westwards back to Sharura, and then take a bus from Sharura into Tarim. Yeah. Okay. So we've told you a lot of the good things, some bad things, and these are things that they are between positives and negatives. They're not really negatives. Okay. You just have to look at it with the right eye. So this is the worst toilet that we found in our trips in Hadramawt. So someone just had to take a picture and to show people, because the reality of it is that these are the types of toilets that we'll encounter in our road trips. So you know, so I don't know. I mean, don't think that you're going to a toilet in the Hyatt Regency or Hilton. You know, it actually looks this bad. Okay, it actually looks this bad. So be prepared. And you might see, and this might be a common sight as well. This might be a common sight as well. We're traveling to a third world country, so I don't want to paint a very rosy picture for all of you. You know, these things are to be expected, but like I said, you see what your heart wants you to see, inshallah ta'ala. So inshallah ta'ala, if we come across these things, these are things that we will just put aside as a necessary inconvenience for us to see the beautiful things that exist in Yemen, you know, the beautiful people that we will meet, inshallah ta'ala. Okay, so just bear that in mind. And yep, I've come to the end of my presentation. So that's the speedy version. Okay. There would be a short version, and there would be an extended version, inshallah ta'ala. Okay. We can talk about this more during our travels, inshallah ta'ala. Anybody has any questions? Yeah. So generally speaking, Singapore currency, Singapore dollars is not convertible in Yemen. Even if you find the remotes, just one or two remote foreign exchange houses, I forgot what's the name. What do you call it? Money changer. Money changer. I suddenly I just the word is Arabic, saraf. Okay. Money changers. If you find the odd money changer that accepts Singapore dollars, they will give it to you at a very bad rate. Okay, so you should actually change the money that you need for your Hadramawt trip, the US dollars or Saudi Riyal here. Okay, and then we'll change there. As for Saudi Riyal, for those of you who are going for Umrah with us, it's actually good for us to change Singapore dollars in Saudi. In fact, we get a better exchange rate, generally speaking. So you can have some Singapore dollars for you to exchange in Saudi for the Saudi leg of our journey, for those of us who are going for Umrah. Okay. Well, it depends on like whether you want to do shopping. You know that the meals that we are providing is full board, so you don't have to pay for meals. But being tourists, there's always this itch for jajan. You want to go, you want to buy shal, you want to buy songkok, you want to buy shimis. Maybe you want to go to the tailor and make a shimis like this, which is actually it's very good. This is actually tailor made. It's less than $10. Yeah. So, yep. Honey, and honey is expensive. Honey, like if you buy good cedar, one janoon like that, 5 liter or 5 liter bottle like that can cost you about $500-600 US. So it's very expensive. That's for cedar. There are lower grades that you can get for 200, for 100. But yeah, it depends on what you want to buy. Yeah, you can't bring back the honey on the plane. Okay, we have to ship it back, and shipping, just bear in mind, might take about 3 months before it actually reaches us. But it's not bad, if you don't need it in a hurry. You don't need it for work, or I need to eat honey for work. So you don't need that. So just I mean, we can share on the shipment. The minimum you have to buy, as far as I know, since I was there, you have to send a minimum of 4 of those bottles of honey to one single address in Singapore, because they won't send to this place and that place when it comes to Singapore. So if you're just buying one, another person is buying one, another person is buying one, you'd have to just combine the shipment and then send one person's address. And once it reaches Singapore, inshallah ta'ala, no problem for us to travel to that person's house to pick it up. Yeah. So honey, what else? Maybe bohor, mabkhara, the bekas for the bohor, fans, maybe you want to buy that as souvenirs. You might want to buy straw hats. So these are things that you might want to get for yourself. So yeah. Questions? No, not really. Apart from our trip to Doan, there is no day where we will spend a full day outside of Tarim. I think the most is probably half a day. you know, and there are days where we will have to leave early. That's why I said that some of days maybe we might have to pray in the apartments or something like that, because like when we go up to Sayyidina Abad bin Bishr to climb up, we just want to do that climb before it gets hot, you know, before the sun comes up. And like we're going to Nabi Allah Hud as well. So for that trip, also we are going out really early. So probably we'll just pray Fajr at Darul Mustafa. We'll do Latif whilst doing the Musafaha, while we shake hands with the other Hadirin, and then we'll make our way to Nabi Allah Hud. So there are days which are like that, but generally speaking, we won't spend, I think, more than half a day outside. The most I think would be about 4 or 5 hours outside, and then we'll come back to Tarim, and then there'll be Tarimi activities for us to do, like classes and all that. Yeah. I mean, if they want to stay in the apartment because they feel really tired, they can, but I don't know if they'll be bored, or whether you want yeah. Inshallah ta'ala they'll be okay lah. How old are you? Amir, is it? You're Amir, right? Amir, 8 years old. You're in primary 2 in Irshad also. Okay, inshallah ta'ala you'll have enough strength to do everything with us lah, inshallah ta'ala. Okay. And worst comes to worst, maybe he can just take a nap on the bus. I think if we are out, if we are in Tarim, not so bad, you know, you can still rush back to him if he needs you or something. Yeah. But if we are outside, I would recommend him actually staying in the apartment. Yeah, I think that one, if he wants to rest, I think maybe can lah. Yeah. Oh, okay. So they are excused. Tak boleh, tak boleh, tak boleh. This one, I actually know of people who tried to do this, and the authorities, they actually confiscate the, yeah. No, diorang kalau nak try to put madu yang those big bottles inside the itu. Yeah. Small one, 1 kilo okay lah. We are talking about the big 5 liter ones. Yeah. Yeah. If you just have like half a liter, that one it's okay lah. Boleh. Boleh buat pun tailor bagus lah. Because the tailor, to be honest, actually the tailoring kan, it's cheaper than buying. Only thing is that it takes a long time to get ready aja. So anda tak beli baju yang dah siap, selalu anda kat sini akan suka tailor. Yep. Can. Okay, so do we close the session now or do we do it later? Okay. Okay, inshallah ta'ala. So there's one thing that the person who hosted me and my group on our first trip to Tarim, he mentioned that you should know this about Tarim. Whenever someone says ila hadratin Nabi, that means you recite Al-Fatiha. Whenever someone says Allahumma salli wa sallim, that means you're making dua. Okay, you're making dua on your own. Okay, so inshallah ta'ala we'll do that. We'll recite Al-Fatiha. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept this gathering, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make ease for us in our journey to Tarim and throughout our Rehlah in Hadramawt, and also when we proceed on to Umrah thereafter. Al-Fatiha bi Allah taqabbal minna hadhihi al-jalsa wa bi Allah yusahhil umurana. خصوصا أمرنا في الرحلة ويطهر قلوبنا ويزكي أعمالنا ويستر ويفرج قلوبنا وقلوب المسلمين على كل نية صالحة مع العفو وعافية يصلح شأنكم الظاهر والباطن إلى حضرة النبي سيدنا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم. الفاتحة. صلي وسلم. الحمد لله رب العالمين. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. صلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وسلم. الحمد لله رب العالمين. Break away ke break out? Break out.